If you clicked on this video, you've likely heard about flipping in one way or another, and it's probably been associated with a big bank. Today, we're going to go through the complete basics of flipping in old school RuneScape, how you can get started, and the amount of profit you can expect to make. If there are topics we explain that you already know about or are comfortable with, be sure to skip around using the timestamps in the description below. As always, leave a like if you enjoy, and let's take a look at what flipping actually is. Simply put, flipping is buying low and selling high. It's taking advantage of constantly fluctuating prices and profiting from the fluctuation. To get a better idea of what this entails, we have to take a look at something called the margin. The margin is the price difference between a sell offer and a buy offer. For example, let's say I wanted to buy one blood rune on the Grand Exchange. I take my cash stack and head over to the Grand Exchange and buy one blood rune instantly. It buys for 150 GP, but it turns out that I don't actually need that blood rune anymore, so I immediately sell it back to the Grand Exchange and it sells for 145 GP. From buying and selling this blood rune, we've discovered that the price difference between the buy offer and the sell offer, also known as the margin, was about 5 GP. This might not seem that important, but we'll explain in the next section why this is a critical aspect of flipping and what the margin is actually telling us. Let's walk through the margin check process together so I can show you guys in a live example how this actually works and how you can make money from it. So, like we used in our previous example, we're going to go ahead and buy one blood rune. And what we're going to do is we're just going to jack up the price on the blood rune to well above where it actually is price-wise. And that's going to let us instantly buy this blood rune. We're going to take that, and you'll notice that we bought the blood rune for 395 GP. So we'll take that into our inventory, and then immediately we're going to sell it back on the Grand Exchange, but then this time we want to sell it way beneath where we think the item is trading, so it instantly sells. Now you'll notice it sold for 392 GP, which means the difference between the buy and the sell offers is 3 GP. Now that we have our buy and sell prices, and that we know the difference between the two is 3 GP, we know how much money we can make by flipping these blood runes. For every single blood rune we flip, we are going to make 3 GP, so if we flip 1,000 blood runes, we'll make 3k, and if we flip 10,000 blood runes, we'll make 30k. The way you can calculate this is to take the margin, which again in this example is 3 GP, and multiply it by the quantity of blood runes that you flip. I know what you're thinking, it must seem like the profit is completely endless and that you could make an unlimited amount of money just buying and selling blood runes all day, but there is a limit to it. Jagex has put an item limit on every single item that resets every 4 hours. We're going to go more into this later, but basically what this does is it limits the amount of any item that you are allowed to trade in a short period. All of this right here is what is called the margin check process, and you're going to use the margin check process to find out how much money you're going to make from a flip, and really if a flip is worth doing or not. You may be wondering what items you should actually be flipping now that you know how to calculate a margin, and you're probably wondering what items are going to make you the most money. A great place to start, especially if you are brand new to flipping, is to only focus on items that are high volume items. High volume items are items that are traded constantly on the Grand Exchange and are bought and sold like millions of times a day. Everything I'm showing on screen right now is considered a high volume item, and I recommend that all beginner flippers start with items like these. If you need more item ideas though, you can go check out the Old School RuneScape's top 100 most traded items list on the official RuneScape website. I'll put a link in the description below for that one as well. That is a great place to find some item recommendations. And we'll also have a section at the end as well that's going to go through a bunch of flipping tools and kind of places you can find item ideas as well. So don't worry, we've got you covered there. The reason you want to start by flipping high volume items only is because high volume items are the easiest items to flip, as they flip extremely quickly since they're traded so often, and if things don't go your way, you're going to lose very little GP. By scaling up these high volume items across 8 Grand Exchange slots, you're actually going to be able to make a fair bit of profit per hour just from flipping high volume items alone, even if the margin is not that big. I don't care how much money you have or how big your cash stack is. If you are brand new to flipping, you should stick to only high volume items until you get the hang of it. You might be wondering how long you should wait for an item to buy or sell. Personally, for any high volume items, I recommend waiting about 7 minutes. If an item doesn't buy or sell within that time, you might want to look into adjusting your price offers by calculating another margin check. The amount of time you should wait for an item, though, is very item dependent. This is just a general rule of thumb for high volume items. When you start flipping stuff that is not high volume, that time limit that you wait is going to change greatly. How much money you can make by flipping on the Grand Exchange, and if you're a beginner starting out with about a 10 million GP cash stack, with about an hour of flipping experience, you can expect to make a mil GP per hour just flipping high volume items. To some, that might not seem like a lot, but keep in mind that is a brand new flipper with only 10 million GP in their inventory. The more experience you get and the larger your cash stack grows, the more money you're going to be able to make, and you're going to be able to make it more efficiently as well. Currently, I'm getting about 4 to 4.5 mil an hour from relatively casual flipping, and if I go a little bit harder, I can usually get about 7 to 8 mil in an hour, but 8 mil for me is really pushing it. To conclude this guide, we're going to go through some useful tools that you can use to help learn how to flip, and the first one would be our Discord group. We have a Discord group dedicated to flipping and money making in old school RuneScape, and whether you're a beginner or even if you have a little bit of experience, we can definitely teach you a thing or two about flipping, so I highly recommend you join it. Also, there is another great plugin that is on the RuneLite client that is called Flipping Utilities. This is probably my #1 plugin recommendation for flipping, as it will automatically calculate margins for you after completing a margin check, and is really just a very helpful reference while you are flipping on the Grand Exchange. If you are looking for more item ideas, or you just like to see where an item is trading around price-wise, be sure to check out GE Tracker. We'll have a link for that in the description as well. That is a great website to see item price graphs and be able to see where an item is on its price trend, whether it's going up or going down in price. You can get a lot of helpful information from there. And that's going to wrap it up for today in this guide. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. I'll answer every single question you may have. Besides that, hope you have a great day and good luck making some bank flipping.